Yeah, I'm actually literally now. This is the highest I've ever actually streamed. Give me 1 second. Alright, so I am in fact streaming now too. Okay, great. That's the maximum on Twitch. That's the maximum on Twitch, yes. And apparently YouTube supports a lot higher bit rates. I mean, yeah, I'm streaming 13.5K now. I don't see much of a difference here whatsoever, right? At least not on this screen. That's a little bit weird. Officially, it's 6K, but I researched a bit and I realized it's. I realized I can stream maximum of, yeah. All right, cool guys, great. So let's try that. Let me just take a look at the task manager. If we go to performance, yeah, effortless. Okay. Alright, effortless. Okay. I love my desktop computer, man. It's insane. Okay, great, guys. Super. Okay, well, good evening. Yes, so official Twitch thing supports 6K, right? So you're right. Okay. Is the music too loud? Should I reduce the music a bit? I guess so, right? That's better. Okay, great. All right, so well, hey, again, so what are we gonna do today is, yeah, I have this task, so we have now I mean, if you want, I can change the music. There are more. All right, so let's see. Give me 1 second. I need to figure out now how to approach this. Figure out if there are more. Get a new token. Did I actually run stuff? No. All right, cool. So yeah, so let's see. I just need to share. Tobs on Twitch. Hi, Tobs. It's been a while, man. How are you doing? Good, man. Good. Just started the stream now. Not much more than that, to be honest. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So again, yeah, we continue now as I'm back into streaming stuff, right? Let's get back into just so basically what I want to start the stream with, I want to move some of these less frequently viewed states into Storybook because I haven't seen them actually in a while. I don't even know if they're working properly, right? So that should be an easy one to start the stream with. So this is our Louis GUI. Now we'll need to figure out I mean, we could just as well put this in our Storybook here as part of the front end, but I don't think we're gonna do that. So where do we want to put this is the question. Because yeah, this is an open source thing. This is the stuff that we open sourced, right? So maybe we can have programmer network specific states here, right? Yeah, we could do something like that. So let's maybe do something like that, right? So what I'm actually going to do, yeah, so we're gonna go or maybe we could systematically try solving this, right? Okay, let me take a look at that. Because basically you can see I'm talking about these types of things, these states which are very actually hard to kind of get to, right? So you can see success, RSS feed has successfully been parsed and article is inserted into database, blah blah, right? So what type of component would that be? I guess some sort of what would that be? Like not a dialogue, but some sort of an info box or whatever, right? Let's get inspired by some existing things that Bootstrap came to my mind first. What the fuck is this again with this Yahoo shit, man? What is it? What is it called? I don't actually remember. Give me a second. Search. So let's see their components. Let's get inspired a little bit, right? They must have some components, right? Badges, labels, nav bars. Thank you very much for the follow. Panels, alerts, maybe. Yeah, exactly, something like this, right? I like this, yeah. Alert. Yeah, we could have something like this, right? Just in our own style. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that quickly. All right, so let's create a core component here. Let's call it alert. And let's say alert.tsx index.tsx alert.stories.tsx, right? And I don't know, we can generate some tests using a ChatGPT. So let's say how are we writing other tests according, yeah. So let's say here alert.test.tsx, right? Cool. Okay. So this is our inspiration. So we're gonna write a component that looks like this, I suppose, right? Yeah, okay, so let's do that. So export const, so we're gonna do something like this, right? And then over here we're gonna say export const alert, right? Right, something like that, right? let's just copy some story from somewhere just as a template. So let's grab this fella. Let's go to the stories here. So let's do something like this, right? Let's say alert. Yeah. Exactly, right? I guess call this one alert as well, right? Then we can get rid of this. And we can get rid of this, right? Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna have it here, right? It says hi. Okay, great. So let's get inspired by this. So yeah, so let's implement it. So yeah, okay. So what I actually want to do, right, instead of, so let's make this some sort of I guess this div is fine. So we can see that we're gonna have a few types, right? And I guess we can just use a class for that. So we're gonna have a class name. We're gonna have class names, right? And what we're actually going to do, I guess, we're gonna have a prop called type. And actually, let's write some types here. So f's a functional component, right? Let's create an interface here, which we're gonna then alert props. Yeah. Ah, beautiful. So useful with the Copilot, right? Yeah, that's great. Okay. Oh, so nice. Okay. That's great. Great designing skills, eyes and shirts, same color. Yeah, that wasn't intentional at all, but thank you very much for your compliment. We can have children here as well, right? So we're gonna say children, let's see, React node, yes, and that's what we wanna do, right? So it's almost like a slot prop, right? And yeah, type children, right? So let's see now what we get, right? So let's go to the stories and yeah. And here we're gonna have type, you know, success. Let's just go actually here and let's export this type. So let's just say here types ts and let's export this, right? And then we do this, cool. And then we'll say, yeah, some text, beautiful. Okay, almost. Let me just close up this crap. Yeah, it's a little bit weird that this color is not rendered. So let's try 500. That's a little bit weird. Numinex, my friend. Good evening. How is life? BG. Okay, let's print this fella, this type here. Children is not defined. What? Type success. Okay. So type is fine. So technically, right? What happened? Why 5 hours? And let's just add a few more styles here. So maybe that's the problem, right? So let's say P4. Ouch. Well, I guess you fixed it, right? So at the end of the day, that's great. I wonder if this is due to the... Ah, shit. Let's actually close that. It's fine for now. Well, there you go. So that's great, man. You're certainly doing more fun stuff than I am, right? So stop complaining. Okay, so we had to reset the actual, you know, see what I'm doing myself. Okay, and then we can say bg green, so we can say border bg border green 600, something like that. I think that would be, so if we want to get something like this, right, and obviously we need to let's say 300 here and 400. Exactly. And robot was so helpless. Yeah, but okay, but these colors are I mean, they are a little bit radical for our network, right? It's yeah. They're a little bit radical for our network, but we'll see. Yeah, so Numinex, I'm just trying to create some roadmap and have my streams to be a little bit less random, right? We kind of been doing a lot of stuff, so now, yeah, some of the streams are going to be boring, and I urge all of you who find it boring to simply not watch. Some are going to be more fun, but I have things that I have to do, right? So fundamentally, yeah, that's just what it is. I can't. I just that's how it is. That's just how it is. I mean, okay, so that actually isn't terrible at all. But we kind of mimicked what we found there. So what we're actually gonna do, right? I'm literally going to, yeah, duplicate this and do this, and then I'm just gonna say a red, right? So I'm gonna say a red, and I'm gonna do it here as well. I'm gonna say, you know, yellow, right? And then lastly here I'm gonna say blue, right? So that's pretty good actually, if you ask me, right? So this, and I say, hey, this should be blue, and that's great, right? Now we can just go and duplicate this story a couple of times. So I just say success, and then what else do we have? Success, error, warning, and info. So success, error, you know, warning, and info. And then we just have to update these types, right? So error, warning, and info, right? Pretty much. Cool. All right, so here it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not that terrible, right? I think it's pretty okay. Yeah, it's not terrible, right? Let's maybe just see one more thing. So yeah, so we for sure want this to take a class name as well, optionally, right? So it's gonna take a class name. Let's yeah, that's gonna be an optional fella, right? And yeah, here we can yeah, we can actually say class name in here. So that's amazing, right? That's beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Okay, great. Now let's copy this to ChatGPT and tell it to generate some tests for us, and we should be good with that one, right? So I'm gonna give it a yeah, some test case. So given these tests, use them as an example to write tests for. Yeah. I mean, this is what ChatGPT and LLMs are the best for. Generating tests, automating stuff, right? Imagine wasting time on writing these tests by hand today. Just ridiculous, right? Would be quite silly, right? I mean, look how good it is for this. Isn't this absolutely impressive, right? It's crazy. So yes, I mean the component is super simple, so it makes it also, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, beautiful. So let's just grab this, fellas. Okay, beautiful. Let's see if actually it wrote any tests. All right, beautiful. Well, it did write tests, and they are apparently passing. Let's let me just make sure it fails. Yeah. Exactly, Numinix. Yeah, absolutely, man. 100% agree. Well, it literally tested all of the cases for us, right? Let me just do one thing very quickly, because I want to kind of keep this in a style of... but yeah, people are usually fine with, you know... yeah, okay. Doesn't matter. Let's leave it like this. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit weird for our platform, because our platform is very minimalistic. We don't even have these colors. But it's a simple... I got inspired by this, right? So I think that's good enough. Maybe... yeah, maybe... yeah, exactly, right? So maybe we could try dial it up, dial it down. Maybe like this. Let me just, let me update the tests. Ah. Yeah, it's because we have 500 all over the place, right? Let me just rerun the storybook, because sometimes it kind of fails to regenerate. Alex, can you share that website with the colors, the example website you take inspiration from? 404, which one do you mean, my friend? I'm not sure I know which one are you referring to. This one? Or... oh, no, I don't have such website. I just find it randomly on Google, right? I just checked this one now, right? Because I used Bootstrap like 15 years ago. So I just whatever came to my mind first, right? So I don't use anything really for inspiration, right? Generally, I mean, all of these components were just you know, out of my head. Okay, actually, this is not that disgusting, right? I don't think this is disgusting. Same, Numinix, 100%, same, man. It was so ahead of time. Okay, so this is, yeah, maybe we can add some shadow and we should be done with this one, right? So let's go and, yeah. So let's say here, shadow MD, right? Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's try running our tests again. Alright, so tests are passing. I had to update the snapshot. Yeah, so that is, I guess, okay. The only question is, we're not really using these rounded things in our product. Our product is very sharp, right? So I suppose maybe we should leave it like that. Do I actually have anything in Programming Network that's rounded, really? I mean, I follow a very sharp design, right? So yeah, so no, not really. So let's follow that philosophy for this component as well, right? Okay, so that's good. That's great. So now we'll be able to cover some of the states. All right, well, let's, I guess I'm fine with this, right? So let's just push this, let's deploy this. Wow, okay. I don't know where is that coming from. So let's deploy this to npm and then we're good with this one. All right, so let's say here, new alert component. Tests are passing, right? Yes. Oh shit, I didn't bump the version. So let's do the bump. So let's do the bump, we forgot about that, right? And then let's create a new tag. Where's our Yale? It's right here, right? Beautiful. So let's see, are we actually deploying this? Is our CI doing the right thing? It should be kind of deploying these last two commits, right? Yeah, technically, yeah. All right, we'll see about that in a moment. So that's good. Where's my... But still, yeah, I still wanted to do something more here, right? So because I have a lot of these states, and this sort of stuff doesn't really belong because I open source this. So maybe somewhere in the storybook I could have like programming network specific components, right? Thank you everybody for your follows. Ah, come on, are you fucking kidding me, bro? What? Come on, man. So freaking annoying, man. Something is we need to fix. We need to fix my VS Code in the context of this repository. This is such a huge waste of time, man. Come on. Use state is not defined. Are you? Come on, man. So annoying. Just a huge waste. Look at this. It's not removing unused imports, right? So silly. Is that the only thing? Yeah. Come on. Okay. Well, that's what it is. Give me 1 sec. So silly, man. All right. Already exists. We need to remove the tag that we created. So annoying, dude. So annoying. All right, try that again. Let's take a look at it. All right, cool. So I think it should be fine now. All right, so some silly things, right? But I wanted to do this for a while. Unfortunately, not super fun, but that's what it is. So there are a few of these states that I want to turn into components, and they are programming network specific components. So it's going to be a little bit weird putting it inside of Yale, but I somehow, yeah. So I'll just do it. I don't care. So what I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to maybe create things such as views, maybe. So I can just say, shit, I don't know. It's still kind of components, right? But they're programming network specific components, right? So validate here the main. Yeah, well, let me think just for a second about it, because it's kind of... Yeah, but no, not really, right? Because now we can use the alert and stuff for this sort of stuff, right? So maybe that's... Yeah, because here we have the error, we have the success. So maybe that's not what I need. So maybe that's fine, right? It's just there's a bunch of these states that I wanted to have. Play one game, my friend. Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. So yeah, so let's see now. Okay, so this is being published to npm, so that's good. Let's close this. Yeah. All right. So what are these states, right? Because so there's different types of states, or there's a state when you reset the password, for example. Let's try to give me 1 second. So for example, there's states that I haven't checked in such a long time, right? So for example, say that you reset your password, right? Yeah, you can see this one, right? So yeah, there's states like this which I wish I have somewhere, right? So they're almost like, not almost in a unit test sense, right? But if we actually use the alert here, so yeah. I don't actually know. Any ideas? You get what I mean, right? There's a bunch. So how can we, let's think about this maybe together. How can we centralize some of these states that you barely see, right? Right, there's so many of those little tiny things which are kind of just nuanced, just some things that users barely actually see, because these types of things are very prone to breaking, right? What a handsome streamer. The most beautiful, for sure. No questions about that. Chica, my friend. Morning. Where's the task? Here. Token expired. Yeah, I mean, that state I haven't seen it. Yeah, this one, right? Token expired. Where is this? Set local error. Attempt to complete profile. Set local error. Rebuilding servers. Local error. Where is this crap? Where do I use this? Okay, so I use this in here. I see. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's fine, right? Maybe I just have to review this so that this is okay, I guess, right? So info icon, invalid token, head back to homepage and log in. So yeah, so I guess this is fine, I suppose, right? There's some end-to-end tests for this sort of stuff would be great. But yeah, password reset, import RSS, server views. Okay. Let me just go to npm. All right, let's try this thing. Zodo, my friend, good evening. All right, so yeah, so let's try using this alert thing, right? So here I guess we can say alert, right? Hopefully we're gonna be able to import it from no, that's not really it, is it? Are you kidding me? We really need to automate some of these things, man. Yeah, I saw that you were writing something about it, Chica. By the way, I think what I forgot doing, unfortunately, because I'm an idiot, I forgot actually Alex alert exporting this, and in fact, we made a slight mistake there, right? So this should have actually been an export default alert, right? Oh, I see what I did here. Okay, I forgot about it, honestly. My bad. No, seriously, what is happening? Yeah, that's weird. What the fuck is happening? Okay, so it was a tiny, wait. Give me 1 second. Actually, the last Windows server I set up was literally 20 years ago. It was Windows 2000, I believe, server edition, whatever. I think I still have a CD somewhere in the Balkans in our different apartment. And then, of course, just used some in a virtual environment in VMs, right? But that's different. Okay. Yeah, this is unfortunate crap. Is it possible to focus on your work? I mean, is that a statement or a question? Because yeah, I mean, I guess it's a question. Is it possible? It is relatively possible, yeah. But if you want productivity, you definitely don't want to stream. If you want productivity, you definitely want to stream. Don't want to stream, right? Clearly, you don't want to stream. And most people don't actually come for coding anyway. Most people just like to talk crap. That's how this Twitch thing works. More crap you talk, more viewers you have. It's fundamentally how it works. It's a word-heavy platform. A lot of people just talking crap all the time. Okay, that's great. And Leo, my friend, good evening. Yeah, I just have this, I have a backlog that I'm following no matter how boring it is. Some tasks that are coming up are going to be super amazing and pretty complex. Stuff that I'm doing now is fairly simple, but it's important. So I can't be not doing certain things because some of you might find it boring. If you find it boring, I'm sure there's a bunch of other things to do than watch me code. So that's just unfortunately how it is. That is how it is. And actually, I think what Sako... I'm here for education, enlightenment, and watch how real work gets done. Thank you very much, man. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I try to code most of the stream, right? Of course, if there's an interesting subject that we discuss, we can, but we don't shit on things in this stream. We don't complain and stuff like that. So there's nothing more in life that I hate than people complaining about things. We don't, we don't troll things. We behave at least to some degree as we are adults, right? Even though we might not be, but so I think you're at a good place if you want that. If you want entertainment and somebody dancing on the stream and talking crap, then this is not the place. You're not gonna get that ever in this stream. Fair enough, fair enough. I love fishing, man. I fished maybe a couple of times when I was young, and dude, I always thought that fishing was boring. Like, oh my god, you're just standing there and doing nothing, but it's one of the most addictive things and calming things I've tried in my life. It's seriously, it's crazy fun. And who would have thought, right? You're thinking like, oh my god, the guy is, fishing. What did I want to do? Oh yeah. More or less, yeah. The thing is, Leo, I have a lot of fun at work, right? I have amazing colleagues, so when I actually generally get home from work, I need this type of stream. So I'm not just doing this for you guys. I need this to be chill and relaxing, right? So it's not just like I fuck around a lot at work every day and do a lot of great work as well, of course, alongside that. But I don't. My work is very fulfilling in that sense as well, so I don't really need. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Of course, man. Of course. Okay, so here we have the type, right, and we have success. Beautiful. Okay. Of course, we don't need this anymore, right? The paragraph inside here, right? So success, you have successfully requested a new password. I mean, we could technically. Okay, so let's just spend maybe 10 minutes on this. These are the views. These are the poor views that never got any love or anything like that, right? So let's give them some love, right? Just, right? You have successfully, yeah. This looks like shit, I must admit, but that's what that actually rhymed. Okay, this looks like shit, I must admit. Wow, I should have been a rapper, not a programmer. What is your thoughts on Redux? I mean, I've been using Redux for so many years, and I even wrote my own version of it. I think Redux as a pattern or a flux pattern is very nice. Of course, depending on how complex your product is, your state is, right? I don't think that these tools are meant to replace each other, right? They're just tools. Think about all of these different libraries and tools like just you have a big box of tools and you use the right one for the right problem, right? So there isn't, I think a lot of people in this industry try to compare things. A lot of people say things like, this is gonna be a React killer, Vue.js killer. Don't think about that way, man. It's like, just be happy that you have so many different tools in your toolbox, and you as an engineer, that's why you're paid, you need to make decisions which one to use, right? So it's not in a way, right, one or the other. So you can use the context sometimes and lift your state up. You can use Redux. I mean, React Redux library is using the context anyway, right? That's why you can use the use selector and stuff, right? But it's really, there's so many great tools, right? There's so many of these libraries for managing state, and a lot of them are doing great things, right? Of course, you want to use these libraries only when you need to, right? So instead of starting with Redux, start without any of them, and then once you see that you're having a lot of issues passing state around, you're missing a lot of global state, so make sure when you're using libraries, no matter what they are, that the need brings you there. Not me or community or someone else's opinion. Try to always, it's a simple philosophy, try to not use libraries as much as possible, right? And then use them, and you will know that you need them, because you're going to have a problem. You're going to, at one point in time, say, man, this state got out of hand. What did I do wrong? And then you're going to start researching, and that research is going to take you somewhere, right? This applies to every single thing in every single domain of programming, not just in web development, right? So start with use state hook, right? You're going to have a lot of local state, and if that's not sufficient, then use some context maybe, or just lift your state up one level or whatever, etc., right? So I have not heard that song, no. Man, this looks so bad. Shit. So bad. So bad. Yeah, wait, I just need to think a little bit about this. I don't like this at all. No, never mind. I mean, that's maybe just how it is. The only maybe exception we could try, because this has to really fit our own design, is maybe to keep it like this, right? So maybe not even have the background ever, right? Just have it something like this, right? I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean is lifting the state up a good thing. That's literally how the internet works, how HTML works as well. So what do you mean? I'm not sure. Why would it not be a good thing? And it's a genuine question. Why do you think it's not a good thing, right? Because I have a feeling that you're sharing a lot of opinions that you've heard somewhere. Have you actually put a thought in it? If you ever claim that something is good or bad, right? You must think about it, right? So why is it good or bad? There's nothing more natural to the whole HTML component, even the native components, than attributes, than props. That is the most natural way to use any HTML elements, no matter the framework or library, right? Alright, let me just play with this a bit. I mean, why don't we access and update the status? The thing is, I mean, I have a feeling that you're I cannot, it's very hard for me to follow, right? Because I don't actually understand what it is that you're trying to achieve. Let's imagine that this is your view, right? You have some component here. You have some components here, right? Let's imagine these three things are articles. They require title and description, right? You're obviously going to have these props here, and somewhere in a place where they need data, you're going to give them some, you're going to fetch some data, and you're going to pass, you're going to loop through these, and you're going to give them some props, right? So that's basic, right? Now, if these three guys were in a different component, right, for whatever reason, so let's imagine this was some sort of a list. So let's imagine this thing, it contains these boxes, right? So this box is a component, these three things are a component, right? Now the decision on you where to fetch this data to give it to these guys is up to you. You can have a prop on this guy, this big guy, or you can just as well fetch inside here. But this purely depends on the use case. There's no rules about this. There's no rules where you should do things. Some components are just containers. They fetch data and pass data to some components, right? So you have, this is very simple and basic logic. If you draw your stuff out and you figure out which component should be pure, which component should have side effects, right? So there's no theory here. This is purely logical and purely contextual, right? That's how you deal with any state, right? If you need global state, if you need some state where you need access across the whole application of yours, then you're going to lift that state all the way up. This can be a redux or context. You can just pass props indefinitely down, which of course you don't want to do probably. And this is the whole logic about state, right? If you need something to be global, it has to be somewhere all the way up. That can be a redux store, it can be a context. And then you have smaller components which take some data depending on the context, right? But you want to try to keep your components as small as possible, as composable as possible. Meaning you want to make sure that you can take this guy and compose it with some other guy, some other component, right? And get some other compound component, some composable thing, right? And this because components are just functions, so functions in general in programming should be as pure as possible, and they should, whenever possible, do a single thing, right? So components are just functions, so you cannot separate any theory about them. Functions should be reusable, functions should be doing as least things as possible, and then you apply the same to components, and then you're gonna have great UIs. That's sometimes possible, sometimes it's a little bit harder because of the context. What the fuck happened here? Ah. It's funny because global variables are generally... Well, it's not a global variable. It's not a global variable. It's absolutely... What do you mean a global variable? What is actually a global variable in this context? Not... Exactly, Chica. You Numinex, man. I love you, man. Sleep well. Okay, well, this actually looks really bad. So actually, do I even want to do that now? I don't actually know, but it looks pretty bad. Following the rest of the style, right? Yeah, I don't like that at all. So I'm gonna actually undo this. Yeah, okay, we'll just discard this crap as well. Alright, cool. So yeah, so again, so I'm not trying to shad or shady whatever I'm not getting into any specific examples, right? There's no how somebody did something is irrelevant to me. I don't actually care how they did it. I'm just telling you that dealing with state in any application ever relates to logic and design, how you think about your app. How somebody did it is irrelevant. You can pass state or some values across in many different ways. And the way that they did it might be correct or might be incorrect. That I don't know. I would need to see that, right? The point is not that. The point is that state, how you deal with your state, it is how you design it, right? If you design it bad, if you don't think about design up front, you're gonna fail, right? And then you're gonna work backwards, and one day maybe you're gonna... It same applies to modeling your tables in a relational database, in a graph database, even in a NoSQL database as MongoDB. If you fail with the design, the rest of your application is gonna fail. It's gonna have to adhere to that thing. So if you fail to design your data models, then your code is going to have to deal with that. Your queries are going to be complicated, they're going to be slow. So you can see how you design any of this stuff is going to affect a lot of other things in your application, right? And fuck, I think... give me 1 second, I think... Shit, I might have forgotten to read this chat here. Well, I don't actually if anybody even wrote anything, probably not, but let me just make sure that I do this. Custom docs apply. Beautiful. Na 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 na. All right. So this task, yeah, I'll need to define this a little bit better. Let's see what else could I do today. This is gonna be one of the next tasks we're gonna be doing. This one is gonna be fun in the next couple of streams. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Are you kidding me? Yo, yo. How are you doing, my friend? How is life? So we'll need to... I'm the first chatter with emotes in your channel. Yeah. You know that my channel is not cool, and that's what it is. I hate these emojis. I see a bunch of little 18 years old horny idiots incapable of composing a sentence properly. I wish I can ban those emojis completely, but apparently you cannot. So that's what it is. Eberman, that's amazing, man. Congrats. That's great. That's great. That's great effort, man. Keep it up. Now the life begins. Now the life begins, right? Great stuff, man. Congrats. Congrats. Super cool. Great effort, man. Nice, nice. I got a snowboard under my feet. I can fly so high, I can fall so deep. So what we could do, I mean, for courses, again, we could add some sort of completion, right? So when you complete a lesson, you could kind of mark it as completed or something, right? Let's take a look at that. All right, so I have an idea. So there's one thing that I want to do first, and shit. La 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 la. Oh my god, the barcode is here. The sexy barcode. How are you doing, my friend? Haven't seen you in a while. How's your platform going? How's your platform going, buddy? Good, man. Good. Not much. Been on vacation with my wife and kid like a week or two ago. Haven't streamed much, to be very frank with you. Yeah, that's more or less it. What about yourself? Text SM. Okay. Fuck's sake, man. Why I dislike it so much, I don't know. Yeah, there's something missing that I don't like here. Maybe, yeah. I wonder, wait, give me a second, let me try one thing. Where's the sections? Yes, sections expanded include section ID. I just want to try one thing. This would kind of make the expanded ones kind of have some style, right? Yeah. You've been watching into me. I I mean, there's already blogs. I mean, this platform is live. I hope you know that. You can already write blogs and stuff. This platform is live for like a year now. I mean, you can write blog posts. Yeah. Right now, if that's what you mean, right? Yeah, man. I feel you. It's very hard to. I'm with you. It's it could be better for sure. Could be better for sure. No question about that. I'm with you. Well, I mean, when you're at the homepage, right? Haven't you seen these articles here, for example, right? Like when you click on them, right? You can see that they're articles. But yeah, it's good to get that feedback. It's like the question is, what would you like to see, right? In that sense, what would it make it more? No, I'm not gonna bother people to log in. That makes no sense, Leo. If people want to log in, they can click the login button, right? I mean, otherwise, I mean, come on, right? If you can't click on a login button, I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that. I mean, yeah. That's just my 5 cents, right? I don't actually know. But it's fine. I mean, you know. Fuck, man. I mean, there's nothing on the bottom of the page that you care about. This was reported many times, right? You can get to the bottom of the page at any other page, right? So that's a good one. I don't actually know what to do about that, right? Because I would, like you said, this is an infinity scroll page. What we could do, we could make just this piece scroll, right? But then you would have two scrolls, right? You would have this one and this one. So, yeah. You can upload images already. Depending what images are you referring to. Well, didn't you get a notification? I guess you should have gotten the notification, no? Let me just run the tests. Okay. All right, so I guess yeah, that's better, right? Yeah, I don't actually know. So let's just try a few more things. Where do I sections map? Yeah, over here, right? Yeah, maybe that's slightly better, right? Maybe even more, right? Yeah, that's maybe better, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit better, right? Let's rerun these tests. Alright, so yeah, that's just a tiny change I had to make. I need to deploy this again. Use the language that you know the best, that's what I think. Pick the tool that you know the best and focus on building the product. Don't worry too much about the language. Right now you haven't even started, which means you have 0 users. Hence, which language are you going to use is irrelevant. Most of the people who talk about languages non-stop, they never build actually anything in their lives because they're busy talking about things instead of building things, right? So I would say focus on building things and not talking about things, because everybody can talk, right? Very few people can actually build. Building a social platform, you can see I'm doing that on my own, is a very, very complicated thing. And I'm not talking about the Hello World platform you're going to run on your local host. I'm talking about something that, just like Programmer Network, has to run 24/7, has to be secured, has to be so many different things, right? So just use whatever you know best and focus on building. Don't worry about influencers and shit like that, right? Local host, thank you very much, buddy. I wish I had more time for this, right? I mean, I do this as a hobby, right? So after wife and kid and all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, we keep coming back and we keep doing things, and we have more than 1,000 users signed up, so it's fine, right? But I would say use any language you want for anything you need. At the end of the day, again, it's about building things, right? Language to get to the point in time where a language that you chose is a bottleneck, it's going to take years or never. In most cases, never. Don't forget that CNN, BBC, TechCrunch magazine, they're all still running on WordPress, and they're having millions, tens of millions of visitors every single day, right? So if a WordPress can serve these platforms with tens of millions of users and satisfy them, then certainly it can satisfy your app with 0 users. Right? So if you actually go to WordPress.com, for example, right, and you scroll a little bit down, right, look who is using WordPress. Salesforce is a unicorn company that's worth tens of billions of dollars. They're using it. Al Jazeera, CNN, Slack, Disney Time, all of this crap is running. Well, it's not pain. It's pain because you don't know it. That's why it's pain. If it's not pain for these guys that have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of users, then I don't think it's pain, right? Everything is pain when you don't know it. That's how it is. When you learn it, it becomes... Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you use it, right? That's not the point. You're not a PHP developer. You're not WordPress developer. You don't build plugins. You're not part of that ecosystem. PHP is a huge language, right? It's a huge language. WordPress makes it even bigger by introducing the WordPress specific API and stuff. So again, that's not the point. I'm not suggesting... Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? Look, I'm not suggesting that you should use it or not use it. I'm just saying if companies that have billions of dollars and etc can use it, right, and it serves their purpose, then I'm sure that it would serve yours and mine. That's the point. I'm not saying, right, that obviously I'm not using it, right, but I just wanted to show that all of this childish talk about languages is useless, right, because we have businesses generating tens of billions of dollars using it, right? And now we are sitting here like little assholes building Hello World app, and it's like, you cannot build a Hello World app in PHP. It's impossible. It's very slow. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Yeah. Try building this, you know, I have 0 users, but it doesn't matter, this language is very slow. Oh my fucking god, man, I'm so sick of it. Exactly, localhost, exactly, my friend. You got it. You got it pretty much. You nailed it. If technical people were making decisions on the stacks in their companies, no company would ever exist. Software companies wouldn't exist because they would go bankrupt first 2 weeks, right? So thanks God that there's rational people out there who can balance that out and actually get software built with a reasonable amount of time with very few people, right? Because if junior nerds were deciding on technology, no company would exist to this day ever. Internet wouldn't exist, right? Oh man, yeah. When I got super pissed, I remember that. So basically, maybe a couple of months ago, Bun.js came out, right? And one of the viewers of mine, I don't think he's ever gonna come back because I shat in his face. One of the viewers of mine, he came here and said, "Man, I can't wait for Bun.js to replace Node.js," right? And then I asked him why. I asked, why would you wish for such a thing? It's because he said Node.js sucks. Okay, I said, all right. So then I asked, why does it suck? What have you ever built in Node.js? And he said, I never actually used Node.js. Can you imagine this idiotic mentality of an average developer? He wishes for some language to be replaced by another runtime. I remember that, Leo, because that guy was stupid like fuck. I cannot because I was genuinely pissed. Not because what he said, it's because that reflects the community, internet community, web developer community. Can you imagine that a guy wished for a language to fail, language that he never used and he never built anything in it, but he has formed an opinion from some other asshole like himself on YouTube or whatever that it sucks? Can you imagine that PayPal.com runs on Node.js, but for him, the guy who never used it, it was bad? Can you imagine that mentality, man? Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, some people are just idiots, like, completely, man. I don't get it sometimes, man. I don't get it. Ah. Give me a second. Hopefully my wife is not writing to me to tell me to calm down. Let's see if my wife is telling me to calm my tits down. Hey kid, how about you shut up? No. Oh, never mind. She's asking me about the food. Okay, it's all good. False flag, guys. False flag, guys. Okay. Alright, so let's push this bad boy. I wish that Node.js would fail. Oh my god, I never built anything in it, but I wish it fails because it's so slow for me. Fucking idiots, man. Full internet. This whole community, man. No, you dude reminded me of that idiot, man. I triggered myself again. You don't do that, man. That guy was the top of the iceberg of this stream, man. I literally, if I know his name, I would print his name, frame it on my wall, just so I can trigger myself time to time for my energy levels to go up. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I think of that guy and I just feel better instantly. Well, I feel worse for a moment and then I feel better, right? Rust is blazingly fast. I can't wait for Node.js to Motherfucker. Well, the thing is, right? So the thing is, I think one fundamental problem that people don't understand is that companies are not choosing Node.js because it's fast or slow, right? The thing is, like, if you need the absolute concurrency, right? You probably want to use Go. You want to use something else. I think that Bun.js, regardless of its the premise that it on which is based, that it's fast and stuff, it's, for me personally, still far away from using it, right? It has shit tons of issues. It has a lot of problems. A lot of things are still not working, and I would be super worried to invest my own time into something that's actively developed by one person, right? Ignoring the community, of course. So, but I think it's very possible, man, because, you know, V8 has been built, what, 20, 30 years ago, right? So it's an unfair comparison, right? V8 as an engine has been built very long ago, right? So of course that they made a lot of mistakes. But anyway, fundamentally, I don't think that many people care, right? People will eventually use Bun.js as a runtime for their Node applications, and that's okay, right? But I don't think it's such a big thing as people are saying, because fundamentally, again, it would solve very little for most people, right? Because those people who are having traffic issues due to the API throttling or whatever in Node.js, that's a very rare use case, and most of these people are clustering their apps anyway, having some Redis instance as a centralized store due to the single-threadedness of Node.js, and that's fundamentally it, right? But you know, it's going to be very hard to invest into something like you know, Google, no matter how shitty V8 is, to some degree, right? It's still you know, developed by Google, right? Big part of it, right? So it's an easy bet. It's easy to bet on that, right? Oh yeah, Sako, I mentioned your name because you mentioned the icons yesterday, right? So I was figuring out what to do, and maybe I said we can just kind of make that icon component very quickly, right? But yeah, fuck, man. I wish I had a designer. I wish I had someone who can just... I waste so much time figuring out, making things look pretty, right? That would have... If I ever get fund for this project, the first and the only person for a long time I'm gonna hire is gonna be a designer. Then I would be able to develop things so fast, so fast. Design and UX, man, the hardest thing. I can build anything almost on any level of infrastructure, from the router and a switch and a modem to API and you know, the highest possible level, because that you can define that task and just build it. UI and UX, man, you have to move things around, you have to spend time on that, and it's so hard, man. It's so hard. Ironically, that's where I spend most of my time, right? Is figuring out how to make things look like, right? The rest of the stuff is super easy. All right, so let's do one thing what Sako suggested. Well, a UI designer, right? So not a UX. I mean, I love user experience. That's my obsession in a way, because I love solving these problems for users, right? But if I had a designer that would kind of just design super high fidelity mockups and say, hey, this is that, right? Yeah, that's simple, Sako. That's simple. I'm not. That is an easy part of it, right? Okay, so let's do one thing what Sako suggested, right? Because right now, if I go to my program network, right? So let's create an icon component that's gonna kind of dynamically, using suspense and stuff, import, right, things. It's fine. I mean, the thing is, right? One thing, no matter how if this stream ever ends one day, if I ever stop streaming, I basically wanted to show a lot of people how products are actually built, right? And I think I've achieved that with many of you, right? And you can kind of see what it takes to build something that actually functionally operates on the internet with real users, that's etc., etc. And we've done that, right? So fundamentally, you can see that, you know, Leo mentioned the video game. Video game to a huge degree is very similar. And hardest thing in video game, because I've built video games as well myself, especially when I was younger. The hardest thing for me in video games was assets, right? So if you're building a 2D game, you need some, for example, if you're building some pixelated retro game, you need the pixel art, right? So you can either learn to draw it, which takes time, or you can buy, you know, the assets on some of these websites. But fundamentally, even game development, right, is all about the longest things. The hardest thing is the assets and the objects. If you're building a 3D game, then you need 3D models, right? You need, so it's always really, that's always painful, right? Because that's a different skill set, right? Everything other than that for us is programming, right? But that's not programming. That's yeah, that's just how it is. Okay. So let's build an icon component that we're not going to be replacing everything now, don't worry. I would die inside. So the only thing I'm going to actually do is I'm going to just build an icon component that has icon test tsx and icon stories. Yeah, no, it's okay, Sako. I've built this component several times before. No worries, no worries. I have a very good idea. I built this component like maybe 3 times past 6 or 7 years. Last time 3 years ago at Dream Data, right? So where I work right now. Okay, so this fella overdid it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we might look at it in a second. Let me just remember if I actually remember it right myself, because I want to do it in a specific way, right? Okay, so I'm gonna take the stories. This hopefully should be a quick thing. I'm gonna create a story for it as well. I'm gonna get rid of a bunch of this crap here. I'm gonna get rid of this. Get rid of this. I'm gonna say icon, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's say default here. Beautiful. Okay. Come on, Alex. Ah, shit. Give me a second. Components icon. Okay. Now let's make this a core. Your monthly bat lies. You skipped the last month, Sako. I smelled you a couple of days ago. Stop lying. Alright, so let's build this fella, right? I think I built this component. I love you too, Leo. Thank you for your compliments, man. Oh, motherfucker, that's a good comeback. I'm completely defeated. I cannot come back from that. Okay, Leo, so just so you understand the context. So if you remember last night in the stream, pretty much it was the most boring stream ever, right? Because if you remember, I had to replace all my icons. I had to import them all manually, like, you know, like, if you remember, it was like icon, add bookmark, right? So instead of doing all of this like this, we can just have a single icon component that takes a name. So instead of importing all of this shit all over the place, we're gonna have an icon that you give a name to, and then it uses that, right? So we're not gonna be replacing icons now, don't worry. I'll just, so let's see. So we have this thing here. I don't remember all of the APIs, so let me see. I don't remember the API, to be very frank with you, so let me just see how do we use this. So we use the suspense. So wait, yeah, let's use the robot very quickly. I mean, I've done this, I just don't remember by heart. So I have as a list of icons exported from a single file in my React app, whatever. Let's just say I'd like to use suspense with lazy loading to create a component called icon that will take an icon name prop and import that specific SVG by name. So basically what we want to do here, right, is the easy thing would be that we just loop to things, but we need to be careful here because we want to make sure that we don't import every single SVG. We have like 107 icons right now, right? So we want to make sure that we do this type of stuff, right? So exactly, right? So you can see, yep. So something like this, right? Yeah, this was my idea. This is what I did very, very long ago. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. So something like this, if I recall. Oh man, this is a good question. Alex, can you have an opinion on DOM using DOM API like document create element append child versus using React, even for big projects like yours? Does the React really bring so much value if you develop alone? It does localhost. So I think one of the huge misconceptions of frameworks, a lot of people say, right, okay, let me just make a step back. So maybe 15, 20 years ago, you know, I was using personally plain JavaScript and React and jQuery, right? And then Ember.js and Knockout.js, they came out and they were revolutionary, right? They were absolutely revolutionary technologies for web development. Why, right? Why, right? So the reason is it wasn't just. The reason why frameworks are awesome, as I said many times, is because there's so many reasons. But let's just lay down the most fundamental ones. Number one, let's imagine that we don't have frameworks. Let's imagine that we don't have these encapsulated, opinionated, pattern-based things. Imagine how hiring, for example, would look like across companies. Imagine now that you move from company X and Y, and company Y has completely different app. They have their own router, their own state machine, their own. So hiring would be even worse because hiring is already hard. Imagine now that you have to onboard a person, and every single time you hire a new person, that person has to learn how you did things your way, right? So this is not about, hey, is a native document object model API sufficient or not, right? I think React plays a huge role, right? Because okay, if we just narrow down the problem to my project, yeah, you're absolutely. I mean, I think it makes a huge difference, right? Because I've built literally those modern frameworks back in the day, not directly for myself, but working at the companies back then. And literally, what we would do, we would almost rebuild some of these functionalities ourselves anywhere. Because let's imagine that I haven't used React, right? Well, I would still need a router, right? Because it's a single page app. So I would probably build something using HTML5 history API. So I would probably be like, okay, I need a router, so let me build my own. Okay, and then you would use history API, and then you would build some sort of a hash table, some map between the URL and the state in my application. Then I would probably build some sort of renderer that, you know, I would you know, even if I was using document object API, right, I would still have to build some rendering, right, some rendering engines. So I'm not going to be dealing with state directly in the DOM, right? It would have to be data driven, right? So I would have to still have something that, hey, when this, so right. So fundamentally, it's a great question, and I think the answer is absolutely you want to use a framework, right? Not because, again, it's not about that you can't use plain language. Of course you can, right? But you would fundamentally end up rebuilding so many things. So you would spend so much time building the tools. Let me make a parallel to this. This reminds me of those people who are building new game engines. It's like, I want to build video games. Let me first build a game engine. And building a game engine is complicated. It takes years. It's so hard. And let's face it, we don't need a new game engine. I'm sure there's thousands of game engines out there, and 10 of them are probably super great. So it's the same question would be, do you need a game engine to build a video game, or should you build your own? Well, of course you need a game engine if you truly want to build a video game. If you want to just play with things, well, building a game engine is maybe fun, right? Building your tile map editor and stuff. So I would definitely not get myself into that journey ever again, because you can see that I'm building this whole platform on my own, and imagine that I have to build the tools around it as well. It would be pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. But super great statement. I know it's not really a question, it's rather. And sorry, there was another question. Wait, can somebody give me tips where to start making handheld gaming consoles or Switch or 3 games? Wait, but I think there was another question up there. Give me 2 seconds. A random potato dev. The benefit is that if I do it any other way, I would literally import every single icon. Every single icon would be almost bound to this component, right? So here, the benefit is that I don't really need, so when I use this icon component, it doesn't have to know about every 107 SVG icons that I have, right? Actually, where are my icons? I think they're inside of source. No, they're inside of assets. No. Yeah, source icons, I guess, right? Yeah. And I don't think actually this is going to work like this, but we'll figure it out. I did this very, very long ago. I just don't think that this is going to work like this, right? But let's see. Maybe it will. Bear with me. I don't genuinely remember. And I actually don't want to import the default one, so that's okay, right? What I really want here is I want to return let's just return some, like, loading, right? Wait, what is it complaining about? Oh. I guess it needs something like this, right? Okay, yeah. I don't remember this API, so bear with me. We're not... Yeah, I don't remember. So let's just give it a shot. That's what it is, right? I have no freaking clue, right? And it would be nice if we can infer the names somehow, right? But for now, let's just say, let's use it like this. So let's just say something like this. And if we go to our storybook, it's probably going to fail. Element type is received a promise that, okay. So it was a promise, I see. All right, so let's get back there. Let's try to figure it out together. Let's just print this, because I don't actually know what the module is in this context, right? I don't remember. But we'll figure it out for sure. Careful what you say, careful what you... So basically, apparently, I guess. Wait a minute. So I think. So it has a hard time importing this. Wait, give me a second. I mean, we could just as well use so this is a default export, which exports a component which returns an SVG, right? Let's just go here and let's say I want to import TSX components, not SVGs. I don't remember, but I think we are almost like one step away from it. Yeah, okay, I see. Shit. Yeah, okay. All right. So here it is, right? Okay. All right. So let's do that like this. Oops. Actually, you know what? I'll just grab the context of this instead, because we have this functional component thing there. So we do something like this, right? Let's import this bad boy, and let's import this bad boy here. But what is it? Let me just see. I don't. Okay, so yeah, that's so weird, man. Yeah, that kind of sucks ass, right? Yeah, give me a second. Let me think about this. Yeah, because so what is this actually going to be, right? This should be like React.node, right? React node or null, something like this, right? Then we have this implicit return here, I guess, right? So did you mean to call this expression? And let's actually just, yeah, shit. So we call the set here, I see. Then we call the lazy. So lazy exotic component. Yeah, shit, man, this is a very strange syntax. So we return this lazy thing, right? Let's just put some explicit returns because it's going to be easier to read. Did you mean to call this expression? Yeah, but that makes no sense. Okay, let me just try one thing. All right, never mind. Let's try. Can I even try? Just yeah. Let's try. Yeah, we can try that. Yeah. Let's try that. Exactly. Const other component. Crazy. Yeah. Right. So let's do something like this, right? Thanks for that. Beautiful. Okay, I see. I see. All right. But yeah, that's basically what we've been doing, right? And I guess, yeah, this is a promise, right? So that is kind of the problem that we're having here. And I guess this, I don't think that this supports async in a way, does it? Can we do something like this? No, it doesn't, right? So that is a little bit problematic, right? Because we need to ensure that this is a resolved thing, right? So if I kind of get rid of this, right? It's complaining exactly about that, right? Previous state React node. Good evening at YouTube. So this now would be a promise, right? So this would resolve into a promise, right? And that wouldn't really work, would it? So right, so you would expect basically the opposite, right? So you would expect we do the load, right? Then we say, what the fuck? Wait a minute, where is the lazy? Give me a second. So we have to say, right, try to lazy load it. So that's kind of what we've been doing, right? So this dot then, right, module. Yeah, but it doesn't like that. That's the problem. If we could at least give this a shot, right? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, let's actually see if we can even if we can at least try even rendering this, right? All right, let's see what happens here. Yeah, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. I don't genuinely know. So we have a lazy load here. We try to import. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm using the promise on purpose because it doesn't matter if you're using one API or the other, right? So this is fine. This should technically work in a way, right? We try to import this. This would be the module. This would be the default. That's what we want to set this to, right? Argument void is not able to promise. And yeah, the issue is that this never gets called, right? So we never try rendering this. If we try rendering it, it's probably going to explode now, right? Yeah, right, exactly. Do we actually get anything? Let's see. Elements is expected as a string for built-in, or yeah, got null. Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, exactly, random potato, but that's not what I wanted. That's not what I want to do, right? Because we already have the index, but that's then not lazy loaded, right? That's the problem. We could do that very easily already, right? Yeah, exactly. That is this very known and standard way, right? And we could do that, but that would have a different effect on this whole thing, right? But we'll figure it out. Let's not give up. Let's not give up. So it's okay. So basically, it's complaining the type void is not assignable. So here we are essentially returning. I mean, we can try that and test, right? If it is really lazy, right? But give me a second. Let me struggle a little bit more. Let me struggle a little bit more, right? Yeah, but where are we returning promise? This makes no sense. We're not really returning anything, right? That's a little bit weird. We don't have this return statement here, so that's weird. We're not really even returning anywhere, so why is this guy saying that we are? Argument of type void is not the promise default component any. The void is not assignable to type promise, yes, but we're not really returning, right? So why is this fella complaining? Yeah, this is a promise. Yeah, this is a promise. This is where it should resolve, right? So that's fine. If it fails importing it, we should get an error there, right? So that's okay, right? So I don't think we're doing that wrong. So what are we doing wrong? Have this icon name, right? Yeah, we. You think so? Okay. I mean, we can try that, right? Well, in that case, right? That's a little bit weird, right? Because then we can do this, right? And then we can comment this one out, right? Yeah, you're right. Right, so yeah. Yeah, what fuck my life, we can't do that, right? So wait, where is that lazy documentation? Give me a second. Yeah, wait, let me read the docs like a smart person would do. Ah, I see. Let's just say icon, whatever, right? Let's call it icon component, right? Ah, I see. Okay, all good. Wait a minute. I think we got it. So let's actually return this. What the fuck? No. Okay. Okay, wait. It's fine. Let's print this. Let's see what we get. It should be probably getting a pending promise or something, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I don't think it's a promise. It doesn't look like a promise. Let's see, init payload status -1 So it seems that it most likely failed to import, right? So let's see. So go one level up, go into icons, icon name tsx, right? Yes. Icon name that we gave it here is icon arrow down, right? Yes. So I think we're almost there. We're almost there, I think. Okay, so that should be fine-ish, right? So this fella is definitely not a promise, right? So let's try this. Children, what the fuck? Let's take a look at the docs, okay? Oh my fucking god, man, you're right. And also, let's just call this, Jesus Christ, man. Is just kind of not paying attention. You're absolutely right, yeah. Okay, there we go. Now it works. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you, Potato. Somebody's at least paying attention. Sometimes the site doesn't recognize touch inputs. To be very frank with you, I did, try to make a mobile experience as good as possible. It's good to know. Isn't there like, no, what was it? React dot. What should actually be the type? Let's actually take a look at, give me a second. Take a look at the icon. When you swipe up, got it. I need to take a look at that. So actually, what we can actually do here as well, we can say that this, in fact, is going to be an SVG element always, right? Now the question is, should we cast this? On Android, okay, got it. Let me finish this and then we can take a look. No, fuck, that's also wrong. Wait a minute. Yeah, we for sure. We're gonna basically we're gonna do it step by step, right? So let's just no. So this is not good. No, this is not correct. No, my bad. No, this is not correct. So yeah, never mind. All good. It should be JSX element, right? What the fuck happened? Is this bots? What the fuck is this shit, man? Is this bots? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck just happened, man. I don't think this was a raid. This was a spam or something. I hope it wasn't like bots or something. Shit, man. That's hopefully we're not gonna get in trouble for that. I mean, we didn't do anything there. Like, should I report this to Twitch or something? What should I do? It was lazy import the followers. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, got it. No, but I had 5.2 followers already, Leo. So I don't think this has changed much. It's a generic. Okay, so lazy exotic element. So how do we say, what do we have to say? Like SVG element or something. Like what the fuck do we say here, man? Jesus Christ, dude. So how do we fix this type, man? Wait a minute. Component type any. That makes, yeah, that's. Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, the any part is the, but that's the inferred type, right? So that's just how it is. Yeah, I don't actually know, right? Never mind. I mean, the error now is gone. Koambi, good evening, buddy. So I mean, the error now is gone and the component works, right? So that's fine, right? Let's try text indigo 500. So yeah, we can see that our component now works, right? I don't like the any though, right? So wait a minute. So we have a generic type here, and then we have component type. So the only thing I dislike basically is this, but how can I say that this is an SVG of some sort, right? Because they are indeed. Wait a minute. If I go to the arrow, if I go to one of these SVGs, so SVG props, SVG elements. I don't actually know, to be very frank. Can you disable? But I don't think that many of them followed, man. Wait, let's see. Yeah, I think it should be gone. I think it should be gone, but now at any second, because I think it is like 40-50 of them. Okay, so let's keep this like this right now. As basically as Potato said, we need to kind of cover the failing state here, and yeah, essentially, right, we need to I mean, we could literally wrap this in a try catch, right? That should technically be correct, right? We don't really need to know the error. Actually, let's try to figure that one out. So what I'm actually going to do, right? Let's see what happens if I give a name that doesn't exist, right? Let's cover this case as well, right? Unknown variable name dynamic import, right? Okay, so try catch doesn't really work in this context, does it? So we could try the error boundary, right, as well. It's a little bit weird though that this is not an exception, but something else, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna create an enum. You're absolutely right. That's the next thing. There are a few things that I want us to do. Very good thinking, 100%. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, icon not found. So here's the error, right? So basically what we can actually do, I guess the most accurate thing here would be to actually not return anything, so the icon wouldn't be visible. And some error reporting like centric.js or something would be useful here, right? So this is now fine, right? So we can actually get rid of this, right? So that's good. So if there's an error, don't render the icon, right? So that's good. Now, as one of you suggested, it would be great to create an enum, but not even we need to figure out how to dynamically generate it, right? Because we have a bunch of these icons, right? And I want to make sure this is dynamic. I don't want to touch this component ever again after we do this, right? So we need to somehow tell TypeScript, hey, the available icons are one of those from here, right? So let's ask the robot. How do I tell TypeScript to use these icon names as an enum, right? No, but I don't wanna. No, dude, I get it, but that's not what I want. Yeah, but I don't want this. This is not what I want. No. Can we do this dynamically? Neon, good evening, buddy. How are you? Exactly. This is what I want. This is what. Now I remember. It's just I have these thoughts in my head. It's just yeah. Beautiful. Okay. This is exactly what I want. This is good. So what I'm actually gonna do. So I'm gonna say here types TS, right? Beautiful. This is so nice. This is literally what I wanted. Actually, I think the only thing we really need is this, right? There we go. That should be fine, right? Now, I guess. Yeah, now we're actually getting, as you can see, now we're getting the IntelliSense here, right? So that's great. Yep, so beautiful. Okay, wait. Jesus Christ, man. Whoever did this is a fucking asshole, man. How do I disable this crap, man? How do I use Twitch? How the fuck do I use Twitch, man? Channel and videos. Stream manager. How do I use this crap, man? Alerts. Is it alerts? Yeah. Let me disable that crap, man. Follow. Yeah, there we go. Should be disabled now. All right, beautiful. That was great. Yeah. Mega fan. Could you explain this? Yes, yes, what we just did. I guess you're referring to what we just did, right? Yeah, sure. So as you can see, we import all the icons here, right? We import the icons and this key type of icons, right? So the icon name is key type of icons, right? So essentially, it's going to be what type of any of the names of the icons, one of these guys, right? And then we create a map, icon map here. So key is an icon name, so it has to be, key has to be one of the, whatever the icon name is, as you can see, right? So you can see icon name, pretty much all of the imports, right? Now this export is useless, we don't really need to export this. We actually don't need this at all, I think. Only thing we really need is this, right? I think. As you can see, right? So really, only thing we need is key of type of icons. And this gives us this kind of, what is it called? An array of strings, if I may, right? So we actually don't even need this. This is something else, because we don't need this map. Because my explanation is very lousy, right? Because I'm not a TypeScript expert. Let's enforce that. So you can see TypeScript expression type icon name key of type blah blah declares a type icon name based on the keys in the icons object, right? So basically you're saying here this type supports the values of the keys of the icons object, because this thing, right, we're importing all of these icons as an object, right? So this import is going to be an object of keys and value. The value is going to be whatever the import is. The key is going to be the value of the name of the export, right? And then we're saying, you know, create a type that uses the keys of this object, right? So if we had an object foo, you know, bar, right? Key of type of this object would be, you know, foo and bar, right? So that's what's happening. Right? Type of icons, this part gets the type of the icons object. If icons is an object containing all your import icons, type icons would be an object type representing the structure of icons, right? Katab Shorts, good evening, buddy. So that's what it is. Anyway, why is this awesome, right? Because, well, now I don't have to worry about extending this type manually, right? Now every time because I'm using SVGR, right? We're using SVGR, so basically I'm converting, I just put an SVG icon in a folder, it generates this. So this is going to be dynamic now, so I don't have to worry about these types, because the type is dynamic, right? So this icon name is, if I now take a new SVG, generate this, right? So that's pretty cool. So I just, because this has to be easy, I don't wanna be thinking about, you know, every time I change the icon or add a new one, I don't want to be thinking about types. So let's, yeah. So you can see now it should give me a little bit of help. Oh, and we are not actually returning anything from here. My bad, I almost started sweating. Okay, and as you can see, it basically works, right? Beautiful. Okay, that is great. That is awesome. That is indeed awesome. Can you make your beautiful face? I cannot, because it's a selling point of this stream. People genuinely come here to look at my face. That's what I've been told. People tell me, Alex, why are you so pretty? Why? And you know, my answer is always the same. How about you shut the fuck up, because I'm super smart and famous. And no, this is actually a video from that guy Jean Gelat, whatever you pronounce it. He has a video where he does this. Class name, okay. It's a little bit weird though, right? Let me just try one thing. Give me a second. Yeah, this icon is super big, so I guess there's something wrong with it. It's okay. So that's great, guys. Did we forget something? Is there something else that we should do in relation to this one? And I mean, this is all open source, so you can actually see this code yourself, right? So, you know. So if you want to see this code later, be my guest. The name of the repo is... Well, you can find all of the public stuff that I built here, but if you want this specific one, this is the repo. All right, let's see if we can generate some unit tests for this. My pleasure. Let's see if ChatGPT can generate a test for this, because this is a slightly more complicated component. Has lazy loading and stuff like that, right? Let's see if it's gonna be able to do that, right? It would be super cool if it yeah, but it's gonna mock this crap, right? Icon test. I mean, it's a test. I don't give a shit. Let's just give it something. And you can see now it's complaining, hey, there's no icon, such icon as called test icon, right? So that's great, right? You can see we're getting help, right? Okay. So let's get over here. Let's run the tests. Just is not defined. Okay. Backseating, what do you mean? Of course, man, it's an open source. It's an of course, everything 100%. Of course. Of course, man. Of course. Fuck, man. Don't we have some mocks somewhere else? I thought I was mocking some shit here, but not really. Okay. Yeah, of course it is, man. Very welcome, right? Fastify is arguably the best Node.js framework out there. Oh shit! Sorry, I for some reason didn't copy paste the right thing. Why do I actually have to mock this? Do I have to mock it at all? I guess I do. Alright, let's I'm not using chest, I'm using vtest with okay, the import actual. Okay. Well, you live and you learn, right? All right, let's try this. And let's see what the bot actually did, what it wrote. Ah, come on. Okay. What is the need of testing? There are many needs of testing. One of the needs is to prevent regressions and stuff like that, right? So we make sure that when we do things that we don't accidentally break them or change them, right? When updating other things, right? So it is some sort of a generic. So this should in fact. Well, this doesn't really matter, right? Let me just. Say the prophet to the wave. There's too much confusion. vmock react blah blah. vtest no default export is defined in the react mock. Did you forget to return it from vmock? Okay. So I suppose alright, so this is probably not gonna happen now, most likely, because I don't have the patience for that. So for now, let's just forget about it. But I want us to test this one for sure. I want us to test this, but it's not gonna happen now. I need to figure out. Alright, so as always, before we round up, let's have a chit chat. Let's see if anybody wants to discuss something. I need to go and chill out a bit. Need to go to work tomorrow. Any interesting questions, statements, anything you friends want to discuss? Let's talk about beers. Actually, I'm going. I've been to the concert this Sunday with friends here in Amabio in Copenhagen. Going for some beers this Friday as well with my ex-colleague. Some good IPA. Well, is C valid for backends? What is a backend? You need to be more specific. What do you mean backends? What backends? It's not, no. Well, I mostly drink IPA or stouts, right? Imperial stouts or fruity IPAs, hazy IPAs, double IPAs, right? That's my choice for beer, to be honest. My pleasure, Shady. My pleasure, man. Glad glad to hear that, and of course, thank you very much for sticking around. What is to say? I'll be, I don't stream regularly. I don't have a schedule, right? But I try to stream as much as possible because I enjoy it, right? When I don't enjoy it, I generally don't stream for some time. But for the most part, I do enjoy it. So, yeah. But it's not every night, just so you know. Sometimes it is every night, but then, what a good song, man. It's called "Before You Accuse Me," Eric Clapton. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. That's a great advice for many people. Before you complain like a little bitch, before you point fingers at others, take a look at yourself sometimes, man. Take a look at yourself, bro. If we all focus the energy on ourselves, imagine how good we would get. Yeah, before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Hello, boss. I hope you're doing well. I'm not going to live shows much, but if I had the ability, thank you very much. I mean, make sure that I actually never do this. I've never actually asked anybody, but just FYI, I have a YouTube channel as well. So if you guys want to watch my videos, I think I have pretty good videos there. Give it a sub or whatever if you want. I don't think I've ever asked anyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel in a year of time. So, but yeah, just FYI, maybe I should mention that sometimes. What is unexpected any? Oh, motherfucker, unexpected any. Are you kidding me? Components icon. Man, are you kidding me, man? No, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, you can do that, Leo, instead of me. You're here anyway as much as I am. I don't have the patience for that. I hate telling people to subscribe. I find that very annoying, to be very frank. Has my room changed? No, I didn't change my room. I just got a new carpet. I just got a new carpet, basically. Okay, that's better. No, I mean, the thing is, let me tell you one thing about followers, right? So I don't think that follow count means anything, right? To be very frank with you. So I'm of course grateful when people click that button, but it doesn't change much, right? I mean, you will notice that on average I have 40, 50, sometimes best case 70 people watching me, and most of these people are people who know me for a long time, right? So followers and all of that stuff, I don't see genuinely much difference. When I had 2,000 people following me and 5,000, 6,000, the viewer count is more or less the same, right? So, I mean, if people want to follow, great. But if they don't want that, I mean, most honestly, I don't actually care. It's not that it changes much, right? So it's really, yeah. So there's really no difference, right? I mean, you can see that there's a lot of these streamers. They literally have like 1.5 million followers and there's like 3,000 people watching or some stuff like that, right? So correlation between one and the other is irrelevant, right? So if people want to follow, great for them. If not, I mean, I don't give a shit, to be honest, as always. Yeah, it's just right. I mean, it has no right. Fundamentally, it's what matters is that, for me, what matters the most is that there's few of these people who keep coming back, and we're basically friends by now, right? So these are the things that I value. People, there's so many people making content today, so followers, subscribers, and all of that count is kind of irrelevant, right? It adds nothing specific, right? If you get what I mean, right? Ain't got no characters with it but me. I wanna sing you a sad song. This is this is Graveyard from Devil Makes 3. I wrote it there for you, buddy. Fuck, I mean, what? Oh man, it's so annoying with this shit, dude. It seems everybody's sleeping. Look close, they are dead indeed. Alright, great. Alright, that's actually good. I like that. That's fine. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see if this is gonna deploy. Let's hope it will. Oh my fucking god, I was sharing my own face and not the screen. It's not intended. No. Yeah, because nobody told me that I'm not sharing my screen. Leo, Jesus Christ, man. You were guys just looking at me. I'm like, I don't know who is more silly, you guys or I. Of course you. I mean, I'm obviously perfect. Yeah, we are going to sleep, but you know. Can you do a tutorial on setting up GitHub Actions for Node.js? Well, I mean, that depends what you need, right? I mean, again, you have all of that code on my open source repositories, right? Like if you go to Yale, for example, right, you can go to GitHub here, you can go to workflows and then circle CI. So you can see how I did this one, right? If you take a look at some of my other open source libraries, like if we go to, let's say, if we go to, there's few of them, right? If you find, let's say, use AJV form, right? I think this one has a CI as well. This is a validation library I wrote for React, right? So if you go to actions here, so if you go to GitHub, so I think that that's the best place to start, right? So you see here we have another one. So install pm node.js, whatever. So it depends what you need, right? Depends what CI you need, right? Okay, so this is still running. But we can, I mean, I can show you that one day in the stream. It's not a big deal. Thank you, Jack Daniels. Oh, number 7. Well, okay, that's amazing. So we are indeed going to sleep. I just literally wanted to see if anybody has any more questions that I can answer before we throw ourselves to get some rest. So does anyone have any other questions, any other opinions that you need? As I always say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, so be careful about other people's opinions and your own as well. Yes, please go ahead. You have one. Let's see, what do you have? They're not mutually exclusive. You should learn CSS. Either way, of course, Tailwind is just a utility library for CSS. You still need to know how CSS works. And I mean, I have a bootcamp that I started. Maybe this is not a shameless advertising. All the content that I make is free, and it always is going to be free, right? So you should take a look at my bootcamp that I started. Actually, I started with CSS. So this is the bootcamp that I started. And there's more CSS videos is going to be here. But yeah. But CSS is fundamental, right? Without CSS knowledge, you will never build web pages properly, right? So that is just the truth, right? If you want to build websites, not knowing CSS is tragic, right? Because every single UI and UX that you've seen in your life on the internet has been built with CSS and HTML, right? So you should definitely learn CSS. You should definitely learn JavaScript. You should definitely learn your language that you're using, right? And this takes many years. It takes a lot of time to master things, you know. I don't know what the Redux UI is, genuinely. I haven't heard of that, Amir. I don't, yeah. There's a question. I could open a PR if that's good with you, since it's... Yeah, for all, I'd say changing the opacity on the anchor tag slightly and hover to indicate it for events. I know you. Yeah, I mean, of course, all the contributions are absolutely welcome to any of these libraries. So please don't. It's needless. You don't even need to ask. Just if you find something in Yale, if you find something in any of the libraries that I open source that you can do better, be my guest. I mean, as you can see, I have very limited time, and this whole platform is built in this stream, right? And I'm doing so many things. So any help is necessary. I'm sure that many of you can do it better than me because you can put in the time on these details, right? Is it possible to learn web development to the point where you can make websites for companies as freelancers 6 to 8 months? Nitrogen, not anymore, I think. I mean, can you learn things in 6 to 8 months? You can learn a lot of things in that period. But I think that the market is quite crowded right now. So it would be very tough for you to find clients with that level of experience, right? Because working as a freelancer, anyone can start working as a freelancer, but finding work that somebody is willing to pay, like, think about it this way: why would a company pay you and not someone else that with more experience, right? So it's a very tough thing to get into, right? Getting the first clients is very hard. What do you think has good future job opportunities, front end or back end? I think front end is still a lot harder to automate. I think front end is still an art to some degree. Front end is very difficult as well. Back end is, when we say back end, again, we need to be careful about that word. Back end is like saying I want to be in medicine, right? So back end is a very broad term, but if we're talking about building APIs, that's going to be a lot easier to automate than the UIs, because UIs are generally very random, very custom, and etc., right? But either way, I think that it's hard to answer that question, right? There's a lot of courses in Turkey, like you're going to be web developer in 6 months. It's guaranteed job, just pay up. I worked, let me actually show you one thing. So I worked as a mentor for 5.5 years, right? So I worked at the bootcamp for 5.5 years. And when I worked at the bootcamp, that was true. So you can see I worked as a mentor. I worked since 2016 to 21 part-time. I taught at Thinkful, right? And a lot of my students indeed did get the job within a month or two even, right? Many of them didn't get a job that quickly. The market is a little bit different today, right? Bootcamps, I don't know how bootcamps are doing today. I don't genuinely know. I cannot give you an advice on this. They paid. I mean, Thinkful program costed, I think, students $10,000 or $15,000 with a job guarantee as well. But this was back then. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to discourage you, right? I don't want to discourage you. I don't want to tell you don't do it, right? I think boot camps are $15K is very cheap, Leo. I mean, these people have job guarantee. And they have, if they don't find a job within 3 months, bootcamp would give them all the money back, right? So that's a great deal. So if you would finish the program in time and you wouldn't find a job, bootcamp would give you back the money, 6 months. And $15,000 in the US for education is nothing. If you take the regular university in the US, you're going to easily, in good universities, go anywhere up from $100,000 to $300,000 debt, right? But for many of you, you can find a mentor instead. You don't necessarily need a bootcamp, right? What you really need is a course on Udemy or YouTube, and then you should pay for a mentor 2-3 hours a week, right? That's what most people need, because the biggest value of bootcamps isn't the bootcamp, it's the mentor itself. It's a person that you can meet 2-3 times a week, and that person can answer any of your confusions, right? And I think everybody should be paying for mentors, senior, juniors, mid-level. I think mentorship is an incredibly powerful thing, and each one of us could use a mentor of some sort. Your mentor doesn't have to be teaching you programming. Your mentor can be teaching you your mentor can be teaching you, right, various different types of things, right? So it doesn't have to be just programming. That person can teach you how to talk, how to get articulated better. There's so many things, right? But if you want to learn programming, you don't need a school necessarily. You need consistency, you need continuity, you need to understand what it takes. Learning to program, especially in a short time, is very difficult, right? It's incredibly hard. It's going to take many months to even get somewhere where you can pretend that you know what you're doing, right? And sooner you understand this reality, then your path is going to be great. If you fall victim to these marketing sales campaigns online, just become programmer in 3 seconds and make 100 grand, right? That's not going to happen, right? That's just marketing, right? So the better question for those of you who want to learn programming is, are you ready to sit countless hours every day for many months, or you're not, right? Of course it's possible. Of course it's possible, right? The thing is, the reason why many people go to study, why they go to university, is because they need structure, right? They need structure, they need colleagues, they need the pressure of doing that. If you are self-oriented person who can sit home and 10 hours a day for a couple of months or a year, right? Yeah, that's how it is. Everything's possible. And nothing is possible at the same time. It's really all about you. I mean, just to cut this story short, right? If you want to learn to program, if you're a complete beginner, can you do it without paying school? 100%. Will you do it? Most probably not, right? My pleasure, man. So can you? Yes. Will you? You probably will not, right? Because everything is possible, right? People have no patience. I can see that on my YouTube videos. The attention span of an average individual today is so low that I have a feeling that some people would just like to wake up and just learn thing in 2 seconds, right? So it's hard, it's fun, it's amazing, it's rewarding once you get there, but to get there you need to put sweat and tears, you need to put in a lot of work. And if you're willing to do this, you can do it 100% on your own. The problem is, many people think that they have it in them, many people think that they do want to do it, and they fail miserably because they don't have continuity, they don't have consistency, right? Binary 64, good evening. So yeah, if you can imagine that programming is like grinding video games, and if you can just grind that mount every single day for 10 hours, you will definitely learn how to program. If you're unwilling to grind, you will not learn it, and you will fail. It's as simple as that. The best comparison to learning any new skills is grinding video games, right? Why did you never move to US for much bigger salaries? But I mean, what do you mean much bigger salaries? You do know that salary always relates to the cost of living, right? People are very confused. People are very confused about salaries difference. Let me tell you why. So for example, if you work in Silicon Valley, in Palo Alto, in San Francisco, or somewhere, your salaries are indeed $200,000-$300,000 or more, right, a year. Half of that almost is tax, and then other half of that is actually your rent, right? Renting a place in San Francisco or Palo Alto goes to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, right? So salaries, no matter where you are always bound to the living cost. I make more than 100,000 now in Europe, right? Euros, right? Yearly, right? So, but that means nothing. I mean, that number is meaningless because my rent is 2,500 euros almost, right? The tax that I pay here in Copenhagen is 40%, right? So, I mean, these numbers are meaningless without knowing the context. You know, a cup of coffee here in Copenhagen is 7 euros, right? Bread is 8 euros. So you get what I mean? So salary range is meaningless without the context, right? Like if you could technically, how many bagels a year do you earn exactly? No, so right. Keep in mind that don't get deceived by these numbers. Like, oh, developers in the U.S. this, developers in the U.S. that. Yeah, but what is the living cost, right? How much of that do you actually got left at the end, right? So, and Denmark is a social country, right? So now up until 50,000 Danish crowns, I pay I believe 37% tax, and everything above 50% is dynamic, right? It increases more I earn, right? But I'm very happy here in Denmark, and I mean, most of my family lives in the US, right? And I would never want to live there, right? It's just the system itself, the true and pure capitalism isn't something that I crave for, right? I much rather prefer this social capitalism than the pure capitalism itself, right? Because, you know, I like to get on the streets and see people, the whole population being happy, people smiling, then having a huge disparity in life quality, right? So because for me to be happy, I need to live in a happy society, right? And here, in at least in Denmark, what I can see that people are generally happy because none of us is making some sort of millions, right? But fundamentally, we are all happy with what we have, right? And that's all that matters. Because I mean, what is the point of money? You should be living you should not be living to work. You should be your work should come secondary. Did you ever try? I did many freelance projects, right? But I did it, and I still do it to this day, right? But I do it by people who know me, right? So every now and then on LinkedIn, somebody's gonna write to me and say, "Hey, Alex, I need that person to do this for me this many hours," right? So I do freelancing. It's just I don't do it in a way like I'm not doing it full time. But I every now and then, if I want to make a few $1,000, I take on some project, right? The work is a subset of life. Exactly. So Leo listened to my advice and he read the book. Yes. The work is a subset of life. Exactly. That's right, Leo. I'm happy that you read the book being very young, because if you stick to that book, you're gonna be happy in life very much. I promise you that. Yeah. I mean, it's just a summarized Stoic philosophy, right? That philosophy is 1,000 years old, right? So, so it's nothing unique, right? It's just a summarized. Right? Good points have been summarized by Adi Osmani, right? Hello, good evening. Life is all about wind motions, exactly. The Stoic Mind, I have this in paper, so it's this book. Max, my friend, good evening. Actually, I can get the book, give me a second. Yeah, it's this one. So this is basically just a summarized. So this book is somewhat a summarization of a Stoic philosophy by Adi Osmani. Adi Osmani is one of the leading engineers at Google, and he summarized this book, and it's a very good book. I think everybody should. So you can see in the first chapter, right? It's talking about what we just discussed, right? It says, yeah, it's mirrored, exactly. So work is a subset of life, not a superset. Work is a subset, yeah. What about working remotely? I know an individual in my family who gets Americanish level salary while living in a country where average salary is 25K. Nitrogen, I lived like that for a couple of years. That's why in the Balkans, where I'm originally from, I bought an apartment almost in cash and bought a lot of other things. But you get bored of that eventually. So I had that life for some time. I was making almost 15 average salaries a month in my own country, right? But again, it's not about money, it's about life quality, right? People pursue this money indefinitely. For what, man? I mean, you can't neglect your life in that period of time, right? You need to still live, right? Yeah, Nitrogen. So I mean, I was when I was living in Bosnia and Serbia, right? I was working for an American company, and I was making literally like 15 average salaries every month, right? So that's why me and my wife, we bought an apartment, we bought a lot of things, right? But that eventually, when you buy all of that crap, right, then, okay, what now, right? Where do I go from here, right? Well, I mean, I've been living in Scandinavia, nitrogen, now for 12, 13 years. I lived in Sweden for 4 or 5 years. Then I moved back there, and then, you know, I worked for the American company for a couple of years. Then me and my wife, we got married, we bought a place. And then, you know, I mean, when you live in Scandinavia, right, for some time, and then you go back, it's very difficult to get used to it, right? In Denmark, sorry. But I was living in Sweden before now. Now we've been in Denmark for like 8 years or something like that. So it's very different. It's very difficult to not come back, right? I started today with HTML, CSS. I'm very excited for my journey in this career. Do you have any advice? Well, I mean, I have a bootcamp that I started, so you can watch. If you need some content, you can feel free to watch my bootcamp. It's actually obviously fully free and stuff. Like, let me try to find it for you. I have a lot of advice indeed, and all of the advice you can find here. So that's the bootcamp I started. No, I mean, the thing is, nitrogen. I worked remotely long before this remote hype began, right? And I can tell you that I would never accept a remote job again, because I don't think that. I mean, look, some of you are gonna get butt hurt and shit like that. I don't give a fuck, right? I can tell you that I enjoy sitting on my bike every day and going to the office, biking by the beach, right, by the sea, seeing people, getting some air, getting some exercise, fucking around with my colleagues at work, having a chit chat, having lunch together, right? So all of this is part of work. Work is not just waking up. Work is not just waking up and coding indefinitely, right? Work is a lot more than that. And I'm genuinely a person, especially for juniors. If you are a junior, as I said many times, go to the office, man, because you have to learn so many more things than just coding. You have to learn how to talk to people. You have to learn, you know, how to react to emotions, how to disagree, how to agree, how to get in a conflict, how to get out of the conflict. And you're not going to learn this stuff by hiding behind the screen, right? So, you know, if you're very young and you just finished your school, only seek for positions which are physical, right? Because you want to feel the beauty of building things with other people, right? It's not just about code. It's about sitting with other people, building great things, having fun, right? Making friends, etc., etc. So generally, I mean, I don't think that remote work is healthy for most people. Do some people make great stuff out of remote work? Yeah, absolutely. Some people also can climb the Mount Everest, right? So that's not the point. I think that pulling out these statistics out of my asshole, right? Obviously, I feel that remote work is damaging people. It's causing anxiety. It's causing stress, depression, right? So because, you know, again, I've been working remotely for 5 years, so I'm not talking out of my ass, right? I would be very careful about, you know how the saying goes, be careful what you wish for, right? Because if you get that remote work that you crave for, it's going to take very little time for most people to realize that it's not some majestic thing, right? It's not healthy. It can be healthy. Can you organize yourself? Sure. If you're very organized by nature, if you're very well disciplined, you can make remote work, right? You can organize your time. You can make sure that you don't overwork yourself. But most people don't do this. Most people actually cannot get detached from work because their work is at their home, right? Because every day when I go to work, I leave this place, and once I leave work, I come to my home. My work ends in my office where I go. I don't bring my work home, right? Every time when I work remotely, even now from this office here, sometimes I'm too lazy to go to the office. There's almost no end to work, you know. You just end up, the whole day feels like you've been working, right? So when it comes to remote work, if you're young, inexperienced, go to the office. There's so many more skills you have to develop than just writing code, right? You have to learn how to work with people. You have to learn how to be human, right? Because fundamentally, once the AI becomes smarter, once the code generation becomes even better, your soft skills, as I said many times, are going to be the hard skills. As we can already see for a long time now, even before the AI, there's a huge diminishing returns in programming skills, right? Companies are no longer going to hire you just because of your programming skills. They're going to hire you because you're a good team player, because you're articulate, you can talk, you can think, you can critically think, you can problem solve. And this is going to just increase in importance. I know when I'm hiring at my work, right? Your coding skills, the value of that goes up until certain end, and then after that I don't care anymore. Then I care about you as a person. How easy is it to work with you? How do you react when I trigger you with some annoying question, etc., etc., etc. And these types of things you can learn only by working with people, by facing the issues, by disagreeing, by fighting and stuff like that, right? So that's my take on remote work, and I think it's a healthy take. But again, you people are gonna do, of course, whatever you want. But I think it's a valid side of the story to hear, right? Yeah, for sure, Nitro, for sure. I mean, that specific scenario, I agree with you. Like, if I stayed in the Balkans, I would have done exactly that, because alternative to that is terrible, right? So I agree with you that the alternative for you is horrible, right? I'm 100% with you. Which means that if you want to do cool things, you probably also want to move eventually, right? Because Balkans aren't a great IT hub, I can tell you that, right? Remote work is not going to be the future, trust me. Do you know why a lot of companies, Leo, are actually forcing people to get back to the office? It's because a lot of people today are taking multiple jobs due to AI and stuff like that, and they're working on different things, right? So even though it's quite tragic that somebody dictates where you should work, there's a huge problem with people literally doing multiple jobs. And most people who are not hiring are realizing this, but the reason why companies eventually will want people more back to the office is exactly this, that they at least make sure that you're working on the product that you're being paid for, right? Because what one can achieve today with AI is drastically different than what one could have achieved a year or two ago, right? So we have this issue with remote workers where a lot of people are literally just employed in multiple places at once, right? Yeah, and it for sure. I mean, these big ass companies, right? For sure, they are paying, but you really need to be very good, right? But yeah. I'm with you. You know, I left for many of these reasons. I never left the Balkans because of money. That was never the issue. Quite contrary, I had more money there than I have here in Copenhagen, savings wise, right? It's just the life quality. It's about, being able to go to a concert every week or two, to the cinema, meet friends, right? There's so many things to life, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. I'll have to leave you guys now. It's almost midnight here. I'm gonna watch one series on Netflix, and I'm gonna eat something, and I'm gonna head off. Somebody asked me if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. Yes, I will stream tomorrow for sure. I haven't planned not to stream, so in case for some reason I actually don't end up streaming, I would have to have a good reason. But yeah, for sure I'm gonna be here tomorrow, so if you guys are around, please come by if you have nothing better to do, as always. series that I'm watching. I don't actually know. I can find it maybe before I go. I started watching a day or two ago. It's some crime series. It's called Paranoid. I don't know how the fuck do I share this. Wait. Yeah, Netflix Paranoid. Watch Berlin. Will do. I think I'm gonna watch that with my wife. For sure. Thank you for the suggestion. All right, Nitrogen, Leo, everybody. Guys, as always, I wish you guys best. Take care, be smart, work hard, and Variux, you too, buddy. I wish you guys best, and thank you for being here as always. What I can say. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. Thank you guys again. Bye-bye. Ciao. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.